I am here with Roy MacRae. How long have you lived in Blackville?
I was born in Blackville. I lived my lifetime in Blackville with Walters. That was my grandfather's place. And my father, when he was married in the 20s, he bought that house that Jim Brennan's in there, Jonathan.
Were there any restaurants when you were younger?
Restaurants? Well, not when I was really young, but later on there was, Sue's Ross had a restaurant up there across from the Catholic Hall. And Russ Unrail, who lived in that big place there, where that was across from our place up the road there. That big, we call it then, it was built then, Alcorn built it, Archie Alcorn, but it was built before my time.
What did you do for fun?
What did we do for fun? Summer or winter? Well, in the winter, then, well, we got a big storm. There was no such a thing as shoveling the path to the road because there wasn't any road to shovel it to. When you come out the door, the snowshoes are stuck in the snow beside the door on the old veranda, and the skis, and we skied or snowshoed. Or else you waded to the door, waded to the road, and it was all there was then was a horse trail, bobsleds, and where bobsleds traveled. We kept a rink cleaned off all winter on the old mill pond. And you had to shovel it to hop by hand, the snow, played hockey, skated. It's skating nights, and then hockey. And we had a couple of old rink shacks that we hauled out on the ice. We used to get the horses then to tow them out on the ice, and we had two shacks, girls and the boys. In the spring of the year, when the ice started to get soft, we get the horse and haul them back over on the shore there by Boyd Underhills. They stayed on that shore there all summer till the pond froze up. Oh, we played ball, same as they do now, you know, no problem. But you always had chores to do then, not like it is now.
Were there TVs when you were younger?
Were the TVs? Married before we ever had TV. TV started to come in. Oh, I don't know. Yes, I was married quite a while.
Was your favorite memory?
My favorite memory? Well, I don't know. In them days, it wasn't as far as TV shows or anything like that. There's no such a thing, you know. So you were just you get up in the morning and you went to school. When you come home, you've done your chores, because then when you come home, it's summertime, first thing you done was look to see if there's a cartload of wood come and was dumped in the area that you had a pile before supper.
Were there police when you were younger?
No, police, no. No, there's no police. I remember after we get older, there was a cop in Dopetown.
What did your father do for a living?
My father done for a living. My father sold farm machinery and wagons and stuff like that for Lonsberries.
Where did you go to school?
I started the school, the old school back in the hill. Back where Brennan's and Ted Walls is back in there. That school burnt, I think I was in grade 3 or 4. I was in grade 3 or 4 when it burned. And I remember the shingles coming off, the burnt shingles, and my father up on the roof kicking them off. Because then your shingles was wood shingles then. Well, I went to school, the school burnt, so the old public hall, some of us went up the old public hall. Same place where the fire hall is now. And my sister, they went to the old hotel, which was where Cynthia Berry's house is now.
Did you ever think of moving anyway from Blackville?
Did I? Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought of moving away from here at different times, but I didn't. Well, when I graduated from school, very few graduated from school then, because I think there's only 4 boys left when I graduated. But most of them, when they got to be a grade 7 and 8, they went to work at the mill or something. So they quit school.
I want to thank you for taking the time to tell us about your memories of Blackville. I'm turning better. I am here with Louis Donahue and Rita Walls. Rita is a former teacher at Blackville School. We were going to talk about some of their memories of Blackville. How long have you lived in Blackville?
I'll tell you, mine is 76 years.
Well, I guess I've lived in the Blackville area for about 60 years.
Were there any restaurants when you were younger?
Louis, you can feel that.
There was a hot dog stand in the village at that time, and you could get a hot dog in the bottom of the pop for 25 cents. And you could go across the road and go to a movie for 35 cents.
Oh, when I was, you see, I think there was, Mary Frenette had a place there in later years, didn't she?
Later years.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Alex.
What did you do for fun?
Well, in the summer, as Louis mentioned, we picked berries. We always went berry picking after school closed. And we spent most of the summer down at the bridge, swimming Bartholomew River Bridge, because that's where I lived. And I guess that we ran ourselves almost to death one summer on bicycles, and we used to go up to what we call the old O'Keefe place, and the river made a right-hand turn there, and that was so interesting. We just loved that. That was a migration every spring. We went up there, and let me see. In the winter, we used to slide a lot. We used to go sliding on Harris's Hill, as they called it. And you could get a run right there at the top and go right to the bridge. And we used to skate on the river, build a big bonfire. That was fun.
On the same line as Rita there, we picked berries in the summertime. And we were on a small farm, so we always had our animals to look after and haying and all that sort of stuff. And I could add to it, I'd rather stay home and do that than go to school.
Where there TVs when you were younger?
I remember the first time that I saw television, and it was in Herb Underhill's old garage down here. And it was the Joan Fairfax show, and it was just black and white and mostly snow. And the gentleman, Betty Underhill and I, they gave us this bench where we could sit. And the other gentlemen, they just very politely moved back so we would have a full view of this snow on television. And Joan Fairfax.
Yeah, that's where I seen TV first, was at Herb Underhill's store. And it was all black and white at that time, and you only had about 2 channels that you could see at any given time. So we always tried to make it there to see the wrestling.
Did your family have a car?
No, I did. We didn't. I never had a car. There wasn't a car in our family until I was 20 years old. I bought the first car in our family.
Dad always had a car. We lived back about 4 miles, back in Bartholomew, about 4 miles from Blackville. And Dad always had a car of sorts. It wasn't a new one. Dad never owned a new car, but we always were able to get around in it. And I remember one car that we had, Mom, we decided that Mom should have driving lessons. And on the way home, she was putting along, doing very nicely. But I guess she stepped on the gas instead of the brake when she wanted to stop. And the car ended up totally suspended on a big log in the ditch with 4 wheels spinning free. That was Mom's last attempt to learn to drive.
What is your favorite memory?
Oh, gracious.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
Carrying Rita's books home from school.
I was going to say walking over across the bridge with Louis.
Wow.
When I was in school, it was too far. There was no busing at that time. And we had to board out here. So I stayed at Jan Stewart's. I think that was the best year of my life because I walked home with Louis every night.
Were there police when you were younger?
It was just provincial police, wasn't it?
Yes, Harold Moody was the police here when we were growing up. With the RCMP covered from, I think the detachment was in Doketown at that time. And Harold Moody was on police here with, well, then later on they had the Highway Patrol come in for a little while and had our own village police.
It was an interesting little episode with Harold Moody. He stopped a car, the car had no brakes. So Harold jumped on the running board, they went to the bridge. It wasn't our car, it was a local guy. Times have changed.
Yes.
The police don't do that anymore.
Yes.
What did your father do for a living?
My dad was a woods worker, and he always drove horses and worked at the mill in the summertime here. At that time, they carted the wood from the mill to anybody's home within the area. and he drove horse carting wood.
My father had a place back in Bartholomew, and he cut lumber off the land, and I don't think I would call it a farm, because usually all we had was maybe a horse, maybe a couple of cows, a pig, some chickens, and he worked in the woods most of his life.
Where did you go to school?
Well, I always went to the Blackville school.
Well, I went to school in Bartholomew for 9 years.
Okay.
And for the first 5 years I had perfect attendance. I loved school. I loved it. And I didn't want to miss. But then, I think it was in grade 6, I took measles. And I had to stay home then in a darkened room for about a week. It was no fun at all.
No.
And then in grade 7, we were blessed with Marguerite Kehoe. She came in to teach there. Oh, she was just the nicest lady. And so we wrote high school entrance in grade 8, and we were supposed to come out to Blackville then in grade 9, but she said if we helped her with the younger children, that she'd allow us she would teach us back there, and that was perfectly allowable. And so in grade 9, I was in Bartholomew, and then in grade 10, I came out to Blackville and finished there.
Did you ever think of moving away from Blackville?
Well, not me. I'm here to stay, and I never worked a lot in Blackville. I worked away most of the time in Newcastle. But I was told when I built my home in 1967, they said, if you're working in Newcastle, why are you building your home in Blackville? I said, that's my home, and that's where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Well, I never really thought about going away. At one point in time, I guess maybe the thought crossed my mind. I was offered a position at the Lake of Two Mountains I think it was in Alberta somewhere. But I didn't accept it. Instead, after Teachers College, I taught a year in Bartholomew, and then I went to Nelson. I taught a year there, and then I went to Doketown, and then I came to Blackville, and I stayed. I taught here for 31 years.
I want to thank you for taking the time to tell us about your memories of Black.